Going? Cool. Hey guys, we're doing another episode of the Game and Talk series here. We're in the hotel room. It's Friday night. We're at the Student Nationals tournament. Just going to talk about some tournament stuff, what you can expect from tournaments and the type of guys you're into, etc. Now, first start by saying, tournaments are normally seen as sort of a bad place for games to go. Over competitive, and you get the jerk games, but it's really not the case. I don't think.
No, it's not too bad nowadays. Depends what you want to go to, of course.
Yeah, it's it all depends on the system you're running and whether it's comped or not. It's another thing, tournament comp. This event is comped for fantasy. It's not actually comped for 40k, which is interesting. It's pretty light comp, in all honesty.
Could be worse.
Yeah, they've done basic things of beastmen get more points. They get the bonus power dice and that kind of things. So the fantasy is just not overly comped, which is nice. I'm entering into fantasy, 2,000 points, running the Warriors of Chaos. I put the video up, my intro, earlier today, and John's running for 40k, taking orcs. So he's going to say you're running your orc army, because it's quite an interesting orc list.
So something a bit different. So my name's John. Basically something a bit different. It's mechanised completely. So I've decided to go against what a lot of people have thought of 6th edition. So it's 2 battle wagons, 3 trucks, some looters, and a looted wagon. It's a bit more fun in all honesty. I've come for a bit more of an enjoyable one. I've done the winning part before, so
the mech works, and it's a lot of stuff to do. And 2 battle wagons isn't exactly.
Both with the obligatory toilet roll holders on the front.
The spiky toilet roll.
Spiky toilet roll holders, yeah.
Still, they need to model like an arena and just sucked underneath it.
Yeah, if I have enough time, I'm sure at some point I will model one of your Tyranids going under the bottom of it. Serve you right. No, like I say, it's something slightly different to what I normally run with my Space Marines.
The good old Shrike and 10 Terminator army.
Yeah, I got used to running quite a lot. So as everyone's gone, sort of flyer and lots of infantry, and to see how well it runs. I've played a couple of games with it and it's not done too badly. The trucks have actually been fantastic in the deployment zone in the first turn. So the 12-inch move, 12-inch turbo boost, and the battle wagons aren't far behind with, of course, the obligatory custom force field, which is always nice in night fight with bonus cover saves. But
plus those things where you bring something people don't expect, it tends to work quite well. Because everyone's expecting flyers and everyone's expecting loads of infantry, so you turn up a bunch of tanks and 2 battle wagons and people are kind of go, what are they going to do? And
in all honesty, I've kind of gone with the idea of this list that if I'm in your deployment zone, your flyers are going to have minimal effect anyway, because they've got to move a minimum 18, so if I can get in your deployment zone and into combat before they turn out.
It's kind of the plan. So with orcs in general, is get there and start smacking things in the face.
Yeah, like I say, even non-comp 40k, there is not that many lists with a huge number of flyers. Some have become a lot more viable with Storm Talons now, but
I think
with them being points decreased, but
obviously
it's Cronair and
the only spamming flyers you see is like Necrons taking 7 flyers and 3 Helldrakes. And
personally never seen Cronair list, but
I've seen it a couple of times. Quite funny actually.
It does.
The guy brought it to a tournament and he lost like 4 out of 5 games, which is quite funny.
But it happens.
You
know how to do it. You know how to deal with it, or you don't know how to.
You bring it on with that and lose 80% of the games. It's just quite funny.
Yeah, it happens. Something I found with 6th edition more than any other edition is I found it's more how good a game you are rather than how good your army list is.
Yeah, for sure.
I've
definitely.
I've taken on some very good lists and had good results against them purely because I've learned how to use my list and I've learned what strengths and weaknesses are. You can run any list you want. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do as well now with all the changes in certain rules, so glancing vehicles to death and all of that, which does make a big difference in the game.
Definitely. And it's also, you build your list for a plan, you stick to that plan, you get a lot of success out of it.
Well, unless it's my plan, in which case it definitely doesn't survive contact with the enemy.
Definitely. And the other interesting thing as well is, obviously we've never been to this tournament before, this is the first time at the Student Nationals, so it's unsure as to whether the level of this tournament, the level of this event, whether it's going to be really, really power gamey or quite fun and fluffy, or probably more likely a mixture of the two. You're going to get the top end gamers and then the guys out there just have a laugh. And point of reference, gaming tomorrow in suits. So we're playing orcs in suits, Warriors of Chaos in a suit, And I got like the obligatory plastic Viking hat.
Do you want to grab it? Just there?
You know, the Viking hat for tomorrow, for when shit really hits the fan.
Which it will do now in our dice rolls.
It will do.
Well, benefit, something we've learned when we've come here, you can buy charity rerolls.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a bucket load of them. You
Yeah.
probably not so much.
We're probably going to be bankrupt by the end of this weekend because obviously the history between us two is we roll like shit. There's one thing you can consistently rely on is we roll like shit.
This is why we've never had a battle report in any sort of video because we've done 2 turns and it's turned into a farce.
It's just never been worth putting up. I've got my my camera with me obviously and I'm going to take some pictures and you'll probably see how shit my dice rolls will be. Warriors of Chaos. So you've seen my army list, it's not necessarily the most powerful. I just want to take the 3 gold beats and see how they do. Sorry, the ethos of this weekend is to have fun and see what turns up, and then see how it goes.
I suppose this weekend's a bit different to the normal Throne of Skulls, because going to Throne of Skulls we've normally got a good idea of what's going to turn up against us.
Yeah.
Whereas this weekend it's a complete unknown, and in all honesty, one of the things we have been discussing is how you deal with not actually knowing what you're going to be up against.
Yeah.
You can have a good guess, but we've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got its kind of upsides and downsides. I mean, if you sort of know what you're going up against, you can plan for it. However, that then necessarily may start changing what you want to do with your list, and then you start picking it apart. And the plan when you write a list, you obviously have a plan. You know, unit X does that job, and so on. And when you start trying to plan to counter an opponent, that changes, and then the internal synergy list breaks. So kind of having an amount of ambiguity about who you're going to face kind of helps in some ways, because you just stick to your plan. It's kind of what I'm doing. It's the first fantasy tournament I've ever done, so I completely sort of, in foreign waters here. So it's just a matter of I'm going to put my stuff on the table, and being Warriors of Chaos, it's a matter of I'm going to kick you in the face, and if that doesn't work, then I'm going to lose. But that's fine.
You'll have fun doing it.
It's a complete learning curve. Coming onto the back of this as well, practice games I had 2 and John had 1. So coming back to old armies, for my sake it's a new army and I've had like 0 practice, so it's just going to be a crazy weekend.
Mine's an old 5th ed list. In essence, there's very little changes to Wayne's 5th ed, so I'll just try it out.
A few minor tweaks, isn't it, more than anything?
I mean, when I wrote that list, in all honesty, I did rewrite it, and it eventually came to the same thing. Personally, I didn't actually really consider met lists. I just wrote the list and thought, this looks fun. And I've had the one game and came up against Blood Angels with lots of predators, and we had one bad turn of shooting, which kind of threw the game out for me. So I just got in and boarding plank 3 of his tanks, but it happens unfortunately. But the list is fun, and I've actually quite enjoyed playing with it. It was just nice to get it out again.
You can't plan for the dice and keep putting over there. The army sat on the table. It's John Zork's army, and it looks. There's a lot of models, which is obviously what you want from orcs.
I'm running in a t-shirt.
Loads of different squads, and there's the 6 vehicles on there. So it's a lot to deal with, and it looks impressive on the table. Obviously, my Warriors of Chaos army is a lot smaller in comparison because it's a different system, and it's Warriors of Chaos. Don't get a lot of models anyway.
But it's been quite good to talk about different systems, because we both know the 40k system, we're both getting back into fantasy, so it's been good to discuss various tactics we've seen, used, understood. I mean, I've got a Lizardman list, which eventually I'll get fully painted. It's in the process at the moment.
We're hitting up the tournament in June, so we'll probably do something similar to this then in June.
But yeah, like I say, this tournament's it's a new one, something new. Met quite a couple of people there today, but it's hard to gauge, and that's I think the worrying thing for me is it's hard to gauge what the opponent like. If you go to Throne of Skulls, you know you're going to have so many people with very good lists. You're going to have people who are there with good lists for fun, and people who, in essence, don't really care how the results go. I mean, I've normally fitted into the middle category and had varying degrees of luck. I managed to win 2 best stationary players, and then the last tournament got a couple of bad draws, and with my drop pods against 2 Nidzilla lists, and it kind of goes out the window. But you can't plan for that, and it just is the way of how tournaments run at the moment, especially the Throne Skulls with completely random opponents.
Yeah, the thing is with throwing schools as well, we go to them quite often and you see the same kind of people turning up. You know, the regular attenders that go to every single throwing school, so you do get a gauge of who's going to be there and what the level is, which is always it's nice. And coming back to sort of talking tactics, as you come to these events and you talk to people from different clubs and from different areas, and you see how the game's played in different areas, and you can really see how the meta is different in different clubs.
Yeah. Well, that was shown earlier when we were in the pub with a couple of guys from, I can't remember which university they're from. We met a couple of them who were looking through the new Demons of Chaos book.
Yeah, Demons.
I quite like the book. I think it's really nicely balanced, but the
interesting thing is you've read the 40k Demon book, and I've read a lot more into the Fantasy Demon book, because obviously the systems we've been preparing for, and I think we both agree it's a really good set of rules for both systems, and really random and really fun, which is always good.
But I mean, the one thing I noticed when we were talking about it is he written off horrors, and whereas me personally, I think they're amazing. Yeah. Bearing in mind from 400 points, you're getting 12d6 strength 6 shots and put it together properly.
We haven't looked into them properly, and then obviously when we sat down and pointed it out, and you see that there's these good, there's good synergy in them, there's these good combos that you can start putting together, and there's 12d6 shots from 2 units, just incredible. That kind of firepower is just, obviously you get a thing where they give them fuel and pain, but
in all
there's going to be nothing left.
Yeah, by the time you've shot a unit with 3d6 at BS4 and 3d6 at BS3, it's all strength 6. Even Marines are going to have lost at least half your unit on average, or Sod's Law won't let it happen, but whatever it is. Even if they pass 6 at Feel No Pain, it's nice, but there's not many models left in the unit, and that's a lot of the issues with it.
Yeah, sure. And the interesting thing as well is, because the book's not been out a month, we're not even using the new book at this event, so people are still going to turn up with the Fate Screamer list, and you're going to see Fate Weaver, 15 Flamers, 18 Screamers.
Well, we say that, we don't know yet.
No, there's going to be the people, because it's going to last time where they'll probably have to use it. So they're going to roll it out for the final Swan Song game. Same for Fantasy, you'll get the 50-man Bloodletter Hordes, and
I haven't seen games in Fantasy for a long time, but...
Well, the Demons in Fantasy is basically you take 2 40-man Bloodletter units, with a Herald in each one, giving them hatred.
Yeah, so far I've played Skaven and Empire. With my
Demons
getting back into it's quite hard at the
moment. Really horrible with the old book, and now they've kind of changed that with the new book. But there still can be horrible, but the randomness kind of really does balance them out a bit.
And of course, it's after a while that things get comped properly as well, so balances it out. Because this one's 0 to 3 on Herald with Khorne and Bloodletters?
Yeah, Bloodletters and Khorne Heralds, 0 to 3 combined. And you can only have up to 3 characters with fly.
Less of an issue for demons, I reckon, but for some stuff like I've started to see some in Fantasy, especially the 2 cheap heroes on fast models that hit in the flank with lots of strength 6 attacks. I mean,
yeah,
the Saurus list, the Lisman I'm running, I've now seen it and I've had a chance to use it. It's just 2 maximal, one's 150 and one's 120 point Scar veterans running on their own cold ones, because
it's when you get those units with 1-up saves and with a fairly decent damage output, it just becomes a thorn.
4 strength 6 attacks. But it's also with Lisman you can get 2 items that effectively, if one negates the first hit on a 2+ and one negates the first wound on a 2+, so you have to effectively put 4 cannonballs into
it. So there you go, you've got your protection right there, which is always nice. Coming back to the comp we just touched on there, it's likely comped event, and we were saying before we'd like to see a bit more comp put into it, because there's a few combos where they should have taken out and they haven't. Obviously the good one is the high elves. They can now have 550 point units, which doesn't stop them taking us
500.
500 points. It doesn't stop you taking the Swordmaster Horde of BSB with the Banner of the World Dragon in there, and that's just a blender. Whatever that touches, you're just gonna die against that unit.
It's all white lines, whatever you choose to put in.
It's just the
same job.
Yeah, and then you can take the High Elf Mage with you can only be affected by magical attacks, and then any magic weapon becomes a mundane weapon, so you can't hurt him.
At the end of the day, it's most comps will have that, but like I say, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow. I'm sure it's something we might do video tomorrow.
Yeah, so it goes.
Just to see how it goes.
We'll
cover that.
Tales
of woe and poor dice rolling and bankruptcy from charity dice roll re-rolls.
So an end of day summary to do tomorrow of how we've got on in the first day, and that's probably
just something to look forward to try out tomorrow and just see what's what. Should be good.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll probably wrap this video up now. So thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Thank you very much.